Welcome to the first Mastering Meraki video, where we're going to explore the switching section within the Meraki dashboard. In this video, we're going to walk through each page, explain what it does, why it matters, and how to use it effectively in real-world networks. Whether you're brand new to Meraki or looking to deepen your understanding, this training video will help you confidently manage and optimize your switching environment. Let's jump right in. To start off, you can find the switching section on the left main menu here. And if we hover over switching, we're going to start with the switches page under the monitor section. This page shows us all of the different switches that we have in a particular dashboard network. At the top, you can see that we have 4 different widgets that display the connectivity state of our switches. There's offline, alerting, online, and dormant. You can click on each of these and it will filter the switches in the table below. If you want more or less information displayed in the switches table, you can click the gear icon on the right here and toggle columns for your table. You can even drag columns around and reorder them. Each row in the table is a different switch that we have connected to our Meraki dashboard network. Let's go ahead and click on the name of one of our switches so we can see more information about it. On this page, we can find switch port and client usage data. We can really get some detailed information here. If we look at the highlighted ports in this section, we can see which ports are actually being used, which are not being used, and even the uplink as well. Hovering over a port will bring up additional information. Going down the page, we can see the connectivity of the device, the usage, and all of the clients connected to this particular switch. Under the Ports tab, we can manage all of the ports on the switch. This table displays all of our ports and information about each one. Just like the table we saw before, we can customize this one how we want. Clicking on a port will bring up configuration and status information about it, such as name, any tags associated with that port, the port status, and a lot more. The Cloud CLI tab, CLI standing for Command Line Interface, has a fully interactive terminal hosted in the Meraki dashboard that you can use for your cloud management with iOS XE Catalyst switches and wireless controllers. When launching the Cloud CLI terminal, the Meraki dashboard will initiate a secure, direct terminal session inside the Meraki tunnel to your Catalyst device. Once connected, you will have the same terminal CLI experience that you would have if you were to open your own direct virtual teletype session, or VTY session for short. The Cloud CLI terminal is only supported on cloud-managed iOS XE switches and wireless controllers. It's also important to note that cloud management with iOS XE devices can have a maximum of 3 total CLI sessions from the Meraki dashboard, regardless of dashboard administrator. If the dashboard cannot establish a terminal session, it will display an error that says, "Unable to establish a terminal connection." If you get this error, make sure your device is online or contact Cisco Meraki support for assistance. The next section displays session history, where you can download a text file of each session log. Your session history section will update a few minutes after the CLI terminal is disconnected or closed. The last section at the bottom allows you to run automated show commands. Use the drop-down to select a command, and then press the blue Run button beneath it. Device Health is a newer tab within the Meraki dashboard, and it tells us exactly that, the health of the device. It displays real-time monitoring and historical reporting of critical system resources, including CPU, memory, and power utilization. The Event Log tab is here to keep track of events that occur across your network. In the table below, we can see the exact date and time an event occurred, the severity of the event type, and details pertaining to the event. The Location tab allows us to set a location for your switch. Once you set up its physical location, your switch will be displayed on a map where you can easily keep track of exactly where it is. And you can even upload your own floor plan. The Tools tab allows us to do lots of different troubleshooting, such as pinging a switch from the Meraki dashboard in the cloud. There's a ton of useful features found in this section from a diagnostic perspective, such as cable tests, cycling ports, etc. So what else can we do with switching? If you hover over switching in the main menu on the left and click on Switch Ports, you will find a table that gives us all of the different ports for all of the switches found within your Meraki dashboard. So from this table, we could theoretically edit all of the switches at the exact same time. This is particularly useful for somebody who has many different switches in their network. As an example, I'll select a few ports I would like to edit, and then I'll click the Edit button at the top of the table. From this pop-up, you can configure multiple ports in one go, such as changing port statuses, adding specific tags to these ports, and many other useful things. Let's hover back over switching and click on Switch Stack. This table displays all of your configured switch stacks across your network. This table has the stack name, stack members, and the configuration source. You can click on the individual stack members, and it will take you to a summary page for that specific switch. Next, let's check out the DHCP Servers and ARP page. This page displays information about any DHCP v4 and DHCP v6 servers and IPv6 router advertisements seen by Meraki switches on your network. From this page, administrators can configure the MS switches in the network to allow or block DHCP or router advertisement messages from specific devices. You can also configure email alerts to be sent when a new DHCP server or router advertisement is detected on the network. This table displays DHCP servers found within the time frame that you select from this dropdown. If we hover over switching again, we'll take a look at the routing and DHCP page under the Configure section. This page is where you enable Layer 3 routing on a switch and create VLAN interfaces so the switch can act as the gateway and route traffic between VLANs. It also provides configuration for DHCP services and static routes, defining how clients receive IP addresses and how traffic is forwarded to upstream devices. Next, we have the Open Shortest Path First Routing page, or the OSPF routing page. This is where you enable OSPF, so the Layer 3 switch can dynamically share and learn routes with other routers and Layer 3 devices. It lets the switch advertise its VLAN networks, form neighbor relationships, and automatically update routing paths across the network without needing manual static routes. The BGP Routing page, which stands for Border Gateway Protocol, is where we can enable BGP, so the Layer 3 switch can dynamically exchange routing information with other BGP-enabled routers and networks. It allows the switch to advertise its local VLAN networks, learn external routes, and automatically choose the best path for traffic across larger or multi-site networks without relying solely on static routes. At the top right, we can press this button to add another router. The ACL, or Access Control List page, is where you create access control lists to control which traffic is allowed or denied between networks, VLANs, or devices. Group policies on MS switches let you define sets of access control entries that can be applied to specific devices to control what they can access on the network. And from this page, you can add and manage those user-defined rules to enforce security and segmentation policies. The Access Policies page is where you configure port-based authentication and security using methods like 802.1x, MAC authentication bypass, or hybrid authentication. It allows you to control who can connect to the network, apply authentication rules to switch ports, and enforce access control by requiring devices or users to verify their identity before gaining network access. You can click on the policy names here and adjust policy details as well. What else can we do within the switching section of the Meraki dashboard? Well, port schedules are an amazing feature to have handy. Within this section, we can actually put ports on a specific schedule over a given week. It enables us to turn ports off and on at times that we set every day. This is great for PoE devices because you can schedule to turn them off when they aren't being used. It's also a really great way to save on electricity. The Switch Settings page is where we can configure global switch settings, such as management VLAN, multicast settings, and power supply settings. Last but not least, let's take a look at the Staged Upgrades page. One of the most important benefits from this page is the ability to actually sequence updates for our switches, meaning there is little to no disruption for users. This page allows administrators to schedule, defer, and roll back firmware upgrades in stages. And that's it! we've explored all of the pages. Mastering the switching section in the Cisco Meraki dashboard gives you clear control over how your network handles traffic and connectivity. Understanding these pages helps you build a stable, secure infrastructure that can grow with your organization. With the right configuration, you can minimize downtime, improve network performance, and keep users consistently connected. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.